I lived off ramen for a whole month, just to save up enough to take my girlfriend out to this fancy restaurant. Places like this are pretty normal for me. That's probably the nicest thing you own, huh? Tang Yuru's words cut straight through my chest. Worst part was, I couldn't even argue back. Her face stayed calm and cold. But I was already falling apart inside. I didn't even know how to swallow the food in front of me. Then Tang Yuru stood up. It's late. Let's go. A faint smile crossed her elegant face, as she quietly added, and we're over, too. She walked out in her heels. And after the roar of an engine, she disappeared from sight. The nosy waitress had obviously watched the whole thing. She walked over and quietly asked, "Sir, should I clear the table?" When I didn't answer, she glanced at my cheap clothes. "Sir, I'll just take these away then." As she spoke, her hand reached for the plates. My eyes instantly turned red. I shouted hoarsely, "Did I say you could touch them?" The waitress jumped and instinctively stepped back. I stared her down and snapped, "This is your 5-star service." My voice suddenly got louder, drawing everyone's attention. The waitress immediately looked embarrassed and backed away again. "Why are you taking it out on me? You got dumped. So go yell at the girl who left you. Honestly, looking like that, no wonder she dumped you." I shot to my feet. The waitress instantly backed away in fear. "Let's see if you can even afford the damages. Do you even know where you are?" I breathed heavily and muttered, "Pay for it." That finally calmed me down a little. "Security, watch him. Don't let him leave." Right then, 2 middle-aged men walked in. One was my dad. The other was our neighbor, old Zhao. My dad's brows were tightly furrowed. The anger on his face was impossible to miss. I immediately lowered my head and walked over. "Sorry, Dad, I caused trouble again. 10 grand isn't a small amount. There's no way we can afford that." I thought he was about to yell at me. But Dad only let out a cold laugh. "If you're upset today, smash whatever you want. Your old man's got your back." I hurried over to stop him. "Dad!" The security guards immediately surrounded us, but none of them dared move closer, because old Zhao looked terrifying. He was over 6 feet tall with a scar over one eye. His eyes looked like a wild animal's. "Let's see how you're getting out of here today. The damages alone will bankrupt you." My dad didn't care at all. "Why are you panicking, little girl? No matter how much we pay, it goes to the hotel anyway. So why are you nervous? Go call your boss over." Not long after, a nearly $2 million Mercedes G-Wagon pulled up outside the hotel. The hotel owner strode into the lobby. The waitress saw him arrive and quickly rushed over to complain. "Boss, these people are causing trouble. Should we call the cops?" But the second he saw my dad, his face instantly turned pale. "Looks like your staff management is lacking. I know my son well. He normally doesn't lose his temper. But this time, someone clearly crossed the line." The hotel owner's legs nearly gave out. "I'm sorry, boss." At that moment, the waitress and security guards froze in place. Only old Zhao stayed expressionless. He stood coldly behind my dad. My dad looked up at the waitress. The waitress was too scared to say a word. The phone in her hand fell to the floor with a loud smack. The hotel owner didn't dare speak either. He just stood there, waiting to be punished. "It's nothing. Ask my son if he's cooled off yet. If he has, get this cleaned up." The hotel owner quickly bent down and turned to me, his voice shaking. "Young master, what do you think?" Dad looked at me and waved his hand. "Son, this hotel belongs to our family. You're my only son. You think I'd let my kid suffer?" Dad's words left my mind completely blank. Yunding Earl was Kyoto's most luxurious hotel. I used to envy it every time I passed by. But now Dad said it was ours. And I was actually a rich heir. "All right, brat. You were too young before. That's why your mom and I never told you. But now, it's time you knew everything." Dad casually flicked away his cigarette butt and walked toward the private elevator. "Old Zhao, wait here. Several beautiful hostesses stepped forward at once and pressed the elevator for Dad. Still feeling like this wasn't real, I followed Dad inside. The hotel owner finally exhaled. "You offended the young master. Let's see how you survive this. If he stays angry, I'm going down with you." The waitress was so terrified. Her legs gave out. After all, no one expected the guy who just got dumped to be the owner's son. Dad suddenly laughed. "You don't sit that stiff at home. Relax, kid. Your mom and I talked it over. It's time to hand you the weight of the family business. You're grown now. Time to take over our Kyoto business." Before I could react, Dad called in an old man in his 60s. "Old Chen, this brat is yours now. Show him around. Teach him the ropes." "Understood." Dad looked at me again. "Brat, the Lin family business can't be explained in a few words. Take this card." I glanced at it and asked how much was inside. "With your current ability, you couldn't spend it all if you tried. Just use it." Right then, my phone suddenly buzzed. It was my college class monitor. "Tonight's our 3-year reunion. Lin Chuan, you had to come. 8 o'clock, Yunding Crescent Club." Before I could answer, he hung up. Dad smiled knowingly. "All right. Go have fun with your classmates. Here's your mission. Spend 1 million first. Don't tell me you can't even spend money." I nearly choked. Was he trying to make me a spoiled rich kid? Yunding Crescent Club was Yunding Earl's top club. It was meant for powerful guests. For our reunion to be held there. It was probably thanks to our class's rich kid, young Master Joe. I arrived right on time and walked into the largest private room. The lively room instantly went quiet. A dozen pairs of eyes turned to me. Some were full of contempt, some full of curiosity, and some were sizing me up. The class monitor stood up first. "Lin Chuan. I was worried you wouldn't show. Lin Chuan, this rain must have made getting a cab hell, huh?" It was my old roommate talking. "Lin Chuan, how long have you had that outfit?" "I've got some old clothes at home. Want me to give you a few?" Even an idiot could hear the sarcasm. He was sure I didn't have a car. I took a sip of tea. "I drove here. I just live pretty close, so traffic wasn't a problem. This club is in a great spot, but there aren't many homes nearby." "So where exactly do you live?" The man testing me wore black rimmed glasses. His hair was neatly combed. He looked refined, but his tone was anything but kind. A flashy female classmate cut in. "East of the club is Shengda International. That's the only residence within 2 miles. Lin Chuan, don't tell me you live there." I recognized her. Li Yun. Back in college, whenever she walked past me, she always looked disgusted. Then someone suddenly said, "Li Yun. The homes at Shengda International are all luxury flats over 4,000 square feet. Even your Mr. Liu might not afford one." Li Yun laughed. She glanced at me sideways. "Lin Chuan, where do you really live? Stop pretending. Just be honest. Worst case, I'll ask my Liu to find you a rental. Cheap and practical." The second she said that, snickers broke out around the room. But now that I've thought about it, I did own a place at Shengda International. I had only found out tonight that Dad had prepared houses and cars for me long ago. But right now, I didn't feel like explaining. "I'm staying at the hotel next door." The next second, several people laughed without holding back. "Lin Chuan, it's been years. And you still love showing off. The hotel next door. You mean some cheap motel, right?" I looked over at Zhou Yang. His face was full of smug mockery. He had been my rival all 4 years of college. But there was a deeper reason between us. Without showing emotion, I looked toward Tang Yuru sitting beside Zhou Yang. She was my ex-girlfriend, the woman I had tried so hard to win over back then. Tang Yuru was beautiful, the campus beauty of our class. Her family also ran a small business. When I first started college, I was only 18. Of course I fell for a pretty girl. Tang Yuru had so many admirers. They could probably circle the track twice, but since we were classmates, I had the advantage of being close. I followed her every day. Whatever I could do, I tried to give her the best. Every bit of effort was my choice. All for one smile from her. But today, I finally understood. Sincerity doesn't always get sincerity back. I looked at their clasped hands and smiled. "So you two are together now. Congratulations, Lin Chuan. Don't blame me. Blame yourself." Tang Yuru kept her graceful posture and gave me a faint smile. There wasn't a trace of guilt on her face, as if I wasn't the one she had just hurt. "What we had is over. Lin Chuan, I hope you find someone suitable soon. You don't need to worry about me. I'm still young. I'm not in a rush." "Still young? You mean nobody wants you?" Everyone at the table nodded along. Their looks became even more contemptuous. Some even mocked me out loud. I'd been inside less than 5 minutes. My seat wasn't even warm. And they had already decided I had no house or car. And no decent job either. But right then, the private room door opened. A security guard walked in and asked loudly, "Whose Lamborghini is parked outside?" Huh? Whose Lamborghini is parked outside? Another guest accidentally scratched it. They want to discuss compensation. The room went silent. All the mocking laughter stopped cold. A Lamborghini. That's $1 million supercar. Damn. Who in our class drove something like that? Could it be Joe Yang? He's the only one rich enough. A smug look flashed across Joe Yang's face. He was about to deny it, when I slowly raised my hand and signaled the guard it was mine. Tell the other guest. The roads are slick from the rain. It's fine. No compensation needed. My voice wasn't loud, but the whole room went quiet again. The guard turned and left. The room was dead silent. Everyone stared like they'd seen a ghost. A few seconds later, Joe Yang reacted first. He slammed the table hard. Borrowed someone's card to flex. Lin Chuan, you got some nerve. The guy in glasses shook his head. Lin Chuan, cut it out. What if the real owner comes after you? The class monitor sensed things getting awkward, so he quickly stood up with his glass. Everyone, let me say a few words. First, cheers to our 3-year reunion. Second, thanks to Joe Yang for arranging a place like this for us. Tonight, we all get to see something new. Li Yun jumped in. Seriously, he's not exaggerating. This is one of the hardest clubs to book in Kyoto. Even my Mr. Liu has only been here once. Joe Yang looked even more smug. He glanced at me and said condescendingly, Lin Chuan, you've probably never heard of a place like this. Before you leave, pack some leftovers for your parents. My fists tightened. Earlier, I held back for our old classmate's sake and didn't want to make it ugly, so I endured it. But now, there was no reason to hold back. Mock me all you want. Don't insult my parents. I slowly picked up the wine glass. A cold half-smile crossed my face. Then I raised my glass to Joe Yang. Since you're being so generous, I should give you a toast. Thank you. Joe Yang looked at me with disdain. What? Finally learned how to suck up. Where was this attitude earlier? He raised his glass too. Then arrogantly waited for my toast. But the next second, I flicked my wrist. Cold red wine splashed out of the glass. Not a drop missed. It soaked Joe Yang's expensive suit. At that moment, the room went completely silent. Joe Yang's smug look froze instantly, then exploded into rage. He shot to his feet and pointed at me. Lin Chuan. Security captain. Where's the security captain? Get in here now. Throw this psycho out. I swear this guy has a death wish. I stood there without moving. That cold smile stayed on my face. I bet you can't touch me. The second I said that, a tall man in a black security uniform quickly walked into the room. Uncle, what happened? Who messed with you? He was the club's security captain, Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng and Joe Yang were close. Zhao Feng always greeted Joe Yang himself. He basically did whatever Joe Yang said. The moment Joe Yang saw Zhao Feng, he pointed at me and roared, "It's him. Drag him out. Teach him a lesson. Show him what happens when he crosses me." Zhao Feng looked at me. His eyes were full of contempt and cruelty. Without another word, he shouted toward the door. "Get this clueless little punk out of here." 2 guards rushed in at once. They were about to grab me. But right then, the young guard who asked about the car walked up to us again. He looked extremely nervous. "Sir, sorry to bother you again. Here's the thing, your car isn't parked in the best spot. Another car just passed by and almost scratched it again. Why don't you give me the key? I'll move it to a private spot for you. I promise nothing will happen to it." The moment he said that, Zhao Feng froze mid-motion. He turned to the young guard, then looked back at me. A mocking look crossed his face. Him, the Lamborghini owner. "Kid, is your brain flooded or what?" He stepped forward and shoved the young guard aside. Then he pointed at me and threatened. "Let me tell you something. You offended young Master Joe today. And you dared to fake owning a Lamborghini. I'll call the real owner right now and let him deal with you." I completely ignored his shouting. I didn't even look up at him. I simply raised my hand slowly and took a key from my pocket. At the top of the key was Lamborghini's bull logo. Sleek, polished, unmistakable. The room fell silent again. Everyone stared, dumbfounded, at the key in my hand. The shock on their faces was impossible to hide. The classmates who had mocked me earlier all widened their eyes. They even forgot to breathe. No way. Lin Chuan, what the hell is going on? Li Yun's fake smile disappeared too. Her eyes were filled with panic and curiosity. She kept looking me up and down. Zhou Yang's face turned blue, then pale. He looked worse than when the wine hit him. Lin Chuan, seriously. You bought a fake key just to keep this act going. You really think that can fool us? I'm telling you. That's impossible. Just as he finished speaking, the private room door was shoved open. The club manager, Manager Wang, wearing a sharp suit, hurried in with a panicked face. Several staff members followed behind him. The second he entered, he bowed deeply to me. His voice carried a trace of fear. Young Master Lin, I'm truly sorry. This was my poor management. I let these blind fools offend you. The words, Young Master Lin, hit the room like a bomb. Everyone was completely stunned. Zhao Feng, arrogant moments ago, turned deathly pale. Manager Wang. What did you just call him? Young Master Lin. Who is he? Manager Wang glared fiercely at Zhao Feng. His eyes were full of anger and fear. Are you blind? This is our young owner, Master Lin Chuan. Yunding Earl Hotel, Yunding Crescent Club, and half of Kyoto's high-end businesses belong to his family. And you dared lay hands on him. Do you have a death wish? Zhao Feng trembled all over. He dropped to his knees before me. Cold sweat covered his forehead. Young Master Lin, I'm sorry. I was blind. I didn't recognize you. I didn't know it was you. Please be merciful. Spare me this once. The classmates in the room completely lost it. The mockery on their faces had completely vanished. Only shock and obvious flattery remained. My old roommate reacted first. He quickly stepped forward. With a fake smile, he said, Lin Chuan, I had no idea you were doing so well. I was stupid earlier. I shouldn't have looked down on you. Be the bigger man. Don't take it personally. Li Yun also hurried over. Her eyes were full of flattery. Lin Chuan, honestly, I always thought you had something special. You were never ordinary. The classmates who had surrounded Zhou Yang earlier also crowded around me. Each looked nervous and ashamed, apologizing non-stop. Tang Yuru was stunned too. She let go of Zhou Yang's hand and froze in place. Her eyes were filled with shock, regret, and resentment. She couldn't believe it. As for Zhou Yang, all his strength seemed drained. He collapsed back into his seat. His face was pale. He kept muttering, impossible. Impossible. How could Lin Chuan be the young owner? At that moment, Zhou Yang's proud background was crushed. I ignored their flattery and apologies. I only spoke calmly to Manager Wang. Have security park my car first. Also, fire this security captain. From now on, he's banned from every Yunding property. Yes, young Master Lin, I'll handle it now. Manager Wang quickly bowed. Then he snapped at Zhao Feng, you're fired. Get out, now. Zhao Feng ran out in disgrace. Seeing my calm, arrogant attitude, Zhou Yang's anger finally exploded. He suddenly looked up, his eyes fierce as he glared at me. Don't get cocky. You think I booked this place through your connections? I turned and calmly looked at Manager Wang. Manager Wang, tell them. Who allowed them to book this place? Manager Wang answered respectfully. Young master, Mr. Zhou Yang, had someone contact a regular employee and secretly make the booking. According to our club rules, someone of Mr. Zhou Yang's status has no right to reserve our luxury private room. If it weren't because you were also coming here today, young master, we would have kicked them out already. Those words shattered Zhou Yang's last bit of pride. I looked at the pathetic scene before me. My heart felt nothing, only deep satisfaction. I stood up and straightened my clothes. Then I said calmly, I never wanted to come tonight. If everyone had simply eaten peacefully, it would have been fine. But some people just can't keep their mouths clean. Since it's come to this, I won't stay. Keep partying if you want. I'm leaving. Then I turned back to Manager Wang. Also, all expenses tonight go on my account. Yes, young master. After leaving the club, I let out a long breath. So, this was how it felt to fight back. Dad was right. As a Lin son, I shouldn't swallow disrespect. When I got back to the hotel, it was nearly midnight. I washed up early and fell asleep. The next morning, my phone woke me up. I opened my eyes and saw Dad calling, Brat, you really caused a scene last night. I instinctively wanted to apologize. But the next second, Dad said, you did great. A son of the Lin family should be like that. We don't start trouble, but we're not afraid of it either. Thanks, Dad. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. 2 years ago, your mom and I arranged your engagement to Su Wancheng. She just came back from studying abroad. She's not only beautiful, but she has a great personality too. Are you free today? Go meet her. Stop. I'll send you the address. Before I could answer, Dad hung up. By then, it was already noon. I was just about to grab lunch, when, in the hotel lobby, I saw a familiar figure. It was Tang Yuru. The moment she saw me, she ran over happily. I shifted to the side, and avoided her reaching hand. Lin Chuan, I knew you'd come here. I've been waiting. Let's talk properly. I said flatly, we have nothing to talk about. I made myself clear yesterday. Can we get back together? In your eyes, am I something you can summon and throw away whenever you want? We get back together when you say so, and break up when you say so. Discomfort flashed across Tang Yuru's face, but she softened her voice and said, Lin Chuan, it wasn't like that. Zhou Yang forced me. My family's company ran into trouble. Zhou Yang said if I stayed with him, he could help my family through it. So now that you see my family is stronger, you want to cling to me again. My words clearly hit a nerve. Tang Yuru's voice suddenly sharpened. Lin Chuan, I was wrong before. I do love you. Please give me one more chance. I'll treat you well from now on. I looked at her fake face, and only found it ridiculous. Tang Yuru, do you really think I'd still want a vain gold digger like you? My words were harsh. Tang Yuru's face instantly went pale. Tears kept rolling down her face. I ignored her after that. Instead, I turned and called Uncle Chen. I asked him to arrange a driver to the villa estate. Strangely enough, this time, Uncle Chen arranged a female driver. And she happened to be extremely beautiful. She was also very skilled. After a 40-minute drive, the car stopped in front of a villa. This doesn't seem like the villa estate. Seeing my reaction, the beautiful girl smiled. This is your wedding home. Wedding home. Mine with who? Yours and mine, of course. I turned sharply to look at her, and met a pair of smiling eyes. Hello, I'm Su Wancheng. She reached out first. I froze awkwardly for a second, then quickly shook her hand. Sorry. I didn't know you were my fiancé. Her voice was bright and relaxed. It's okay. After we get married, we'll have plenty of time to get to know each other. Wait, didn't Dad say we were just meeting? How did this turn into marriage? I was about to ask what was going on, when Dad's voice came from the balcony above. Brad, get up here and check out your wedding home. I quickly went upstairs with Su Wancheng. Only later did I learn. Dad had already set the wedding date with the Su family. It was at the end of next month. His plan was to let us spend some time together first. If neither of us objected, we'd marry first, then build feelings slowly afterward. First, with the Su family's help, I could establish myself in Lin Group more easily. Second, the Su-Lin marriage would also make the cooperation projects between our companies more secure. Naturally, I didn't resist the arrangement. If the person I chose could betray me anyway, I might as well trust my parents' choice. Besides, after spending a few days with Su Wancheng, she really was a wonderful girl. The engagement ceremony was set for January 19th. Many guests came that day. Business owners from all over Kyoto, big and small, came to celebrate. The ceremony started at 11 sharp. Under everyone's gaze, Su Wancheng walked in gracefully. But right then, a commotion broke out below the stage. It was Tang Yuru and her friend, Li Yu. I had no idea how she found me here. At that moment, Tang Yuru looked unhinged. She pushed past the people blocking her, and stared at the stage with red eyes. This sudden disturbance drew every guest's attention. I stayed calm. I turned to Su Wancheng and quickly explained, sorry. They're college friends. Can we pause the ceremony for a moment? Give me a few minutes to talk to them. Su Wancheng hesitated, then nodded. I waved for all staff to stop. From beginning to end, Tang Yuru's eyes stayed locked on me. She didn't look away once. You said you wouldn't forgive me. Was it because you wanted to marry her? Seeing her so angry, I almost wanted to laugh. Who I marry has nothing to do with you. Tang Yuru laughed from pure anger. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them, they were burning with rage. So this is your excuse for marrying behind my back? Behind your back. The Lin Su engagement has been trending online for over a month. Tang Yuru, do you not use the internet? Tang Yuru seemed to realize something. She suddenly turned to the bride beside me. Her pupils widened in shock. She couldn't believe Su Wancheng's fiancé was me, and she couldn't believe I was the heir to Kyoto's biggest business empire, Lin Group. The Lin family. I looked at her calmly. To be exact, I'm Lin Group's next heir. And Su Wanqing's fiancé. Does anyone still question who I am? That statement left Tang Yuru and her friend silent. Among our college classmates, Tang Yuru could still act powerful. But this united Kyoto's top families. Their little background was nothing before the Lin and Su families. After a long silence, Tang Yuru asked hoarsely, "Why did you never say anything before? Why didn't you tell me who you really were? Didn't you hide plenty from me too? For example, the night before we broke up, you were in Zhou Yang's bed." Those few words made Tang Yuru's face turn deathly pale. She quickly tried to explain. "I can explain that. He forced me that night. If I hadn't agreed, he wouldn't have helped my family." I didn't want to say more. I was about to have security escort them out. But Tang Yuru refused to give up. "Lin Chuan, why would you rather marry a woman you barely know? Then forgive me and be with me again. Don't touch me." I stepped back and kept my distance. "If I remember correctly, we already broke up. Why do you care so much?" But the Lin Su engagement was settled over a month ago. We hadn't even broken up then. You had already found your next woman. I folded my arms and glanced at her. My tone stayed calm. You slept with Zhou Yang first, then broke up with me. So what's wrong with me planning my way out early? Am I wrong? Those words left Tang Yuru speechless. She stepped forward, trying to grab my hand. But I dodged her. I didn't look at her again. I turned and walked back toward the stage. As we brushed past each other, Tang Yuru finally lost control and grabbed me. My patience had reached its limit. I shoved her away. As we struggled, the old chandelier above us suddenly came crashing down. It was falling straight toward my head. The moment danger struck, Tang Yuru instinctively pushed me aside. With a heavy bang, the heavy metal fixture smashed onto her shoulder. Su Wanqing immediately pulled me back. I couldn't help looking back. Tang Yuru was lying in a pool of blood. Security rushed over and checked Tang Yuru's injuries. Su Wanqing frowned and asked if I was hurt. After confirming I was fine, she finally let out a breath. She helped me leave the messy scene. The ceremony had to be postponed. The next time I heard about Tang Yuru was 3 days later. I received a call from Li Yun. "Lin Chuan, are you really that heartless? She got badly hurt saving you, and you won't even visit her." Hearing that accusation, I had no intention of taking the blame. I let out a cold laugh. If she hadn't clung to me, the chandelier wouldn't have fallen toward me. Her injury was her own fault. And you're blaming me. No matter what happened, she still pushed you away. At the most dangerous moment. Do you really have no feelings left? I almost admired her ability to twist the truth so shamelessly. I couldn't be bothered to argue. "Li Yun, stop twisting things. Tang Yuru's situation has nothing to do with me. Keep pushing and I'll hang up." As soon as I finished, Tang Yuru's weak voice came through the phone, still carrying a clingy tone. Clearly, she had taken Li Yun's phone. "Don't blame her. I know you don't care about me. But you can't ignore your marriage." I raised an eyebrow. My tone was cold. "What does my marriage have to do with you?" Tang Yuru's voice suddenly rose, with a trace of crazed threat. "If you don't come see me, I'll kill myself, then have reporters write that the Lin heir used his dying ex-girlfriend to marry into the Su family. When that happens, we'll see if the Su family still accepts you." Before I could answer, Su Wanqing took the phone from my hand. Her voice was ice cold. "Miss Tang, I tolerated you because you saved Lin Chuan once. That's the only reason. Lin Chuan spared your family out of old feelings. But I have no connection to the Tang family." Su Wanqing's tone was calm, but every word carried a clear threat. "I believe Miss Tang is smart enough to know what choice to make." Just those few words sent Tang Yuru's heart straight to rock bottom. After all, with the Su family's power, if Su Wanqing simply said the word, the Tang company could vanish overnight. Tang Yuru didn't dare gamble with her family. She could only swallow her anger and quickly hang up. Sure enough, after that, Tang Yuru never came looking for us again. And a few days later, news came that the Tang family had gone bankrupt. Apparently, the Tang company was already collapsing after its earlier crisis. It was barely surviving on Zhou family support. But after Zhou Yang found out, Tang Yuru had secretly come to me. The Zhou family cut ties with them completely. Without the Zhou family's support, their cash flow collapsed instantly. They were buried in debt and finally declared bankruptcy. 1 month later, my wedding with Su Wanqing was held as planned. This time, no one came to cause trouble. The wedding was grand and elegant. Every important figure in Kyoto came to congratulate us. The cooperation between Lin Group and Su Group
Xin chào mọi người, mình là chủ kênh của Hin Story và cảm ơn tất cả mọi người đã dành thời gian xem hết video này. Và mọi người nhớ ấn like và bình luận để ủng hộ kênh và YouTube cùng nhau phát triển nha. Chào tất cả mọi người và hẹn mọi người ở video tiếp theo.